Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor, bringing you another video on how to raise your vibration so you can live your best life. Welcome to another episode of Magic Mondays, or the intuitive weekly reading. I did discover the woman I thought was using Magic Mondays as a phrase or a term or a name. It actually is not. So I might roll with it. That's just kind of what came out, and so it is what it is. So, how did you fare the eclipse? How are you feeling? It was interesting. Not quite the high level of intensity that oftentimes I have experienced, sort of like I mentioned, that finger in the socket type feeling, but rather more of a rawness. And so, just a little bit of a recap. The last couple weeks, we've been kind of feeling like we're at the starting line, that something big is coming, but we're not quite sure what. But, like the runner's got his foot in the brace, he's ready to launch, but we don't quite have the go yet. There's been definitely a lot of purging. Purging, of course, is a continued ongoing theme that has been with us for years and likely will always be with us, given the nature of learning and growing and continuously leaving behind the things that no longer serve us and stepping into new and more powerful versions of ourselves. So that certainly has been part of the theme, but I would say has been more amplified in the people that I engage with and in my own life. That there is a high level of healing, which also means exposure to the wounds that need to be healed. And so there is definitely a letting go of old habits, old identities, old personality characteristics or traits. And it's definitely a time, especially with a new moon in general, you can kind of feel a little bit fatigued or fuzzy or maybe even clumsy. I noticed there was, of course, the usual aggression that can come with more amplified moons, whether they're new or full. But also just dropping things, not necessarily me, but, the kids or, people at the grocery store, things of that nature. There's just kind of more of a fumbling through the dark, if you will. If you think about a new moon as being completely dark, it's kind of like we're kind of trying to find our way through the dark. And of course, some people, the irritability just kind of comes along with it. But as it relates to the letting go and the old habits, the old identities, the old personalities that we may have identified ourselves as, when we peel back all those layers and we shed sort of a skin like a snake would, we are left with something new and raw and fresh. And it's a little bit fragile, that it needs that nurturing, and it needs, you envision sort of putting a globe over a little bulb as it blossoms and blooms. And what is that globe for us as we step into a new version of us, or rather a more authentic, the original version of us that is less tainted with traumas or wounds or coping mechanisms or compensation or any ounce of inauthenticity. As we peel that back, we're left with who we naturally are, and yet that may not necessarily be 100% clear yet. That there can be a time of rest and reflection that is needed, where we sit in stillness and we listen to the voice of our heart, our soul, of the divine, and we find peace with the void that is the source of creation. And certainly self-care is a big factor in any of these purging moments, any of these big moon moments, any new moon or full moon in general. Certainly as we purge and we cleanse and we shed, it can be helpful to take Epsom salt baths, or to fast, or to detox or cleanse in some way, and set intentions. Right, today in fact, as the moon is starting to have a little bit more light again, that we're in the, I believe, waxing crescent moon. Is that right? Hold on, I don't want to say it wrong, and I can pull it up pretty quick here. But we do have a little bit light again, and yes, waxing crescent. And so what that means is the light of the moon is starting to shine. And this is a perfect time. Typically, if you're setting new intentions, you don't want to necessarily, you can, but it's been said that it's more effective to wait until about now, 2-3 days after, when there's light to the moon again. Essentially, you plant the seeds in the dark, and as more light comes, they're more likely to flourish, right? The plants, the seeds, the intentions need light to bring them to life. And so now would be that time, especially as we're stepping into the more authentic versions of ourselves, the more healed versions of ourselves, the void, embracing the void of not really knowing what that might look like, being willing to accept that even who I was, at 0 and 2 and 5 and 10, before the trauma happened, or before the wounding, or before the hiding, or before the mask, that still may not be 100% authentic today. And so there can be some uncertainty about the unknown is what comes to mind. And yet I don't want to use that phrase because there's a negative connotation to that, where rather it's something that we can approach with curiosity and say, wow, I wonder how I have flourished, deep beneath all of the layers, and what's going to come through, and to approach that with curiosity and even a sense of joyful playfulness, to be willing to discover whatever comes through and embrace it and allow it to be whatever it is. And the beauty of the waxing crescent moon is we kind of start to get out of the fatigue and the fuzziness of the new moon, and we get a boost of positivity, and we can start to work towards our goals, and we may even realize new levels of self-confidence and self-worth, that we're finding our footing in new ground, and we're reclaiming our true selves. And it's we're finding our bearings, essentially, in a new moon, in a new world, in every moment and every day is new. And so yes, purging and healing and shedding, all these things will be continuous themes. And they certainly are strong right now, and I look forward to what they will bring for us in the very near future. So that's my read on the current energies. I am a little bit hesitant to make the statement that these energies will play out for the full week, because what I'm finding as I'm doing these is the energies that I'm reading in this moment are in this moment, and that by midweek to end week they start to shift. And so we will see what is to come. Certainly we are, like I said, in between eclipses. So we have a full moon eclipse coming very shortly in 2 weeks, and so we'll get into that likely next week, and kind of get a sense of what the energies are looking like next Monday. So yeah, I think that's all I have to share. I guess on a personal note, just feeling a bit of an urge to share sort of where I'm at personally. It was very challenging over the course of this past week. In fact, I have felt that I have been pouring into clients and courses and videos and free content for many weeks, and the new moon eclipse hit me from a fuzziness and fatigue perspective quite hard. That the channel did not grow at all over the course of this last week, and sometimes it feels like I'm speaking in an echo chamber. And so I share this with you because if you are finding not only this video or any of the videos, the channel at all helpful, I would really appreciate a like, a comment, a share. And I have to ask for what I'm worth, and I know that I have poured a lot into this channel and to the other channels that I manage, and so I really do have to ask if you could please let me know that you're out there and that this matters to you. That is very important, and it really helps get in that waxing crescent moon boost of positivity and re-energize and know that this matters. Because I know it matters, and I need to hear that from you as well. So I do very much love you guys, even though it might feel like an echo chamber sometimes. I chose to show up again today, and I cannot say that that was easy to do, but I am here. A little less makeup, a little less updo, but you know what? I'm here for you. So let me know that you're out there, please. All right. I love you guys. I will see you in the next video. Take care. Namaste.